we brought together 8 individuals, 2 Buddhists, 2 Muslims, 2 Hindus, and 2 Christians, to see where they stand on certain social norms. Just like how we would vote on IG, for each poll, these individuals chose from firmly agree, firmly disagree, somewhat agree, and somewhat disagree.
If Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat were to crash tomorrow and never be used again, I would be happy.
Personally, I believe that Instagram, Facebook, all the social media, they are basically a way of communicating with people. There was a time when social media did not exist, and there was a time people existed still in harmony, and they kept in touch with each other anyway. So basically, I would be okay with it. I would see that as a new opportunity.
But also social media, especially Facebook and Instagram, they have helped a lot of small businesses grow. So it's helped a lot of people who most probably before this was invented maybe didn't have a job, maybe didn't have a proper way of earning. But then because of social media, because of like things like this and various other apps, they got a chance to, earn for a living.
Just like a knife, it depends on how you use it. So if you are going to stab a person with a knife, you can, as well as cut the vegetables.
My perspective, I believe that social media has really caused a lot of problems to people, and it has psychologically affected people. Bullying has taken place, cyberbullying has taken place. So in my point of view, more than business is growing and stuff, a person's life is more valuable than everything. So I prefer not having social media.
So bullying also takes place in general. When you go to school, you get bullied. Maybe when you go on the road, okay, sexual harassment, everything is there. So even on social media, it is there. But instead of totally getting rid of it, it's best, we come up with new methods to deal with situations like this.
Specifically talking about social media here, what do you think about, so we have apps like Daraz, AliExpress, all those that can help businesses thrive instead of social media. So if we can use those apps instead of social media to promote ourselves.
Well, in response to that, I would like to say that even though all those apps are there for renting out or buying for a business, more often than not, the way that we find out about that business is through a TikTok video or through an Instagram profile or through a Facebook profile. It's not necessarily that people go right into the business profile itself, but through these social media platforms, they are given a way to voice out.
Men should pay on the first date.
Again, I'm here because of my personal opinion. I want to pay on the first date because I don't know, I just want, personally, I want to pay on the first date. Nothing else. Not anything in religion.
I mean, honestly, like most of the time, men are men usually ask the woman out, right? That's normally how it goes. Or that's how it has been for me. So if I ask someone out, I would be obliged to pay on the first date. Like, it only makes sense.
I don't want him to feel forced to do that. If he is willingly taking up because of his beliefs, then yes, he might as well go and pay on the first date. If I want to do it, I should be allowed to. If we want to split it, we should be allowed to.
I believe in splitting the bill because that's an option, and I would say I'll pay for what I had and you pay for what you have, just because it's the first date and you want both of you all to be comfortable and not put any pressure on either party, so I would just split the bill.
I personally want someone to ask me out. I know like girls and guys ask each other, there's no issue, but personally, not because I'm a girl, but I'd like to be asked out. So even the first date, if he asks me out, if he wants to pay for it, I'd let him. But I can stand there because like he doesn't have to pay for it. And like if he's struggling, I would definitely pay for it. Like if he has problems with cash, which is not an issue, like I would step up and pay for it. But if he wants to, okay, fine. And obviously that's going to be 2 or 3 days afterwards, not 2 or 3, but more.
The point which I'm thinking about is it all starts with paying the bill now, and then on the long run, one day, if you're okay. The woman in the family ends up earning more than you, and you're unable to finance your family and run it. And like, for example, okay, like I'll just say my mom and dad. If my mom is earning more than my dad and she's running the family, and my mom is the one who spends on everything, because there are families like that. The mom's earning much more than the dad. It's like X and 10x.
Both of you said that if you ask the girl out, then you would want to pay because, well, it's your beliefs. So, assuming that the girl asked you, would you still make the effort to make the first payment?
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I'll pull my wallet.
I think
Yeah, if it happens, I'll pull my wallet out, but it's going to get stuck. So you're going to end up paying anyway. So.
Would you feel offended that she makes the payment because she asked you?
No. Go pay for it.
Wait, to answer that question, like if I do end up asking someone out, I would want to pay the bill. Like I wouldn't expect them to pay because I asked them out.
I have hidden or have tried to hide my racial or ethnic identity.
So I'm a Muslim, and to be honest with you, even back in school, it was kind of bullying. Suddenly, when you're on a fight with someone, you happen to be a terrorist, okay? Then you happen to be a Thambia, all right? So for me, in school it was all right. Anyway, everyone knew I was Muslim. Everyone knew I was Muslim, so it's fine. I didn't hide my identity. But when I went outside, alright, even when I'm going for, it's a job, you tend to think twice. You tend to think twice because I know people who have been rejected because of their race.
Okay, so for me, it's kind of not that point, it's kind of the other way around. The only reason I've hidden being Sinhalese is because like my Sinhalese isn't that good and I'm not proud of it at all. So like people who hear me speaking, they're like, oh, she's probably from a private school, she's probably from an English-speaking family, and they look down on me because of that.
As soon as I went to Russia for my studies, brown people are looked down upon, and it's pretty bad, like to the level where they would just sometimes you would just take a stroll down the road, and if you're a male brown person, they would just hammer you and just take all your money. But I've never been afraid of putting it out there because you should be proud of who you are, but racial discrimination and things like that exist everywhere in the world.
I have never hidden my ethnic identity or racial identity, but I'm switching back here, and I'd like to say that yes, this stupid race caste system exists, and parents are even ready from a Hindu. So I'm a proud Sri Lankan, Jaffna, Hindu Tamil. Okay, and in the caste system, you can't get married to whoever you want. Your parents will, or your aunts, or your uncles, or those mamas and mamis will tell you that they will suicide if you go and get married to a Muslim or a Christian or a Catholic or a Buddhist.
Let's say I'm a double minority. I'm Tamil speaking and I'm Muslim, and let's bring it down to gender as well, and I'm a woman, right? But I have never hidden my ethnicity or my religion because I felt like personally I wouldn't want to suppress myself.
Sri Lanka, we don't have this understanding between religions. That understanding is not enough per se. And for me, I feel like that should change, and we should strive to change.
And that's one reason I actually talk about my religion, because I feel like you need to have inter-religious conversations, and first you need to put yourself in front and tell, I am a Muslim, proud Muslim. And I have certain beliefs, and some other people might be actually turning that belief into something that's actually not being preached. So I am single Buddhist. You would think that in Sri Lanka especially that you would not be discriminated against, right? But I have had instances where just the fact that me being a single Buddhist have not allowed me to speak my mind about certain things. Because people might construe it as somewhat discriminating. People think that just because I'm a Buddhist and I'm Sinhalese, that when I say things, I'm being discriminated, which is not true, which should not be allowed.
You're put into the privilege, like
Yes, exactly.
which is also discriminatory.
Yes, which is also discriminatory.
When it comes to this racial discrimination, everything else is forgotten. It's just this racial stand-up, like that you need to be from that particular race. Everything else is forgotten. They don't care whether you're Jeff Bezos' son or whether you're Damika Perera's son. It's just your daughter. It's just that race and caste is more important than everything else. If I become a parent someday, I'll change this and I'll break all these barriers, and caste, creed doesn't matter. It's your child's wish to get married to whoever she or he wants.
Would be a better place if everyone followed one religion.
Half of the wars that happened would have not happened. I'm telling you, half the wars that happened would have not happened because most of it is based on either religion or race or something like that.
Society evolves. We should also remember that through these disparities is how we come together, how we learn to accept one another for their differences.
Okay, the reason I came to Samvad is because I'm sort of double-minded on this. So in one, I want people to be accepting of all religions. So that is a definite, regardless of whether it's one religion or many. But also because when you say one religion, there would become the entire scenario of which religion supersedes the other.
When you take all the religions, all of them preach the same thing. But like the disparities that we have are due to our culture and other things that we have. But be a good human being. So if you can have that as your base and just have the cultural disparities and work through them, I think that no religion supersedes another. It's just that everything is the same, and we all just need to come to an acceptance with that.
I wholeheartedly agree with what Afa said about how religion definitely causes so many wars and conflicts. That is all true. But as a Christian, as a person of faith who believes in God, right? I believe in having intellectual conversations that challenge your faith, that challenge your beliefs, that challenge your morals, right? And honestly, if your views and your stances are not worth being challenged, then I don't think you should really have those stances in the first place.
I'm saying that if none of the religions existed, there should be one religion. That's why I'm here. I'm not here because I'm saying, but this religion should take over, they should be prominent, no, nothing. In my scenario, there's no religion in the world, there's just one religion, and that is common to all. Right? Like Sunal said, it's one religion that teaches us to be human, that teaches us to be good people.
This whole disparity, it kind of teaches us things. Like it teaches me to accept the fact that he believes in God, that you all believe in God. I as a Buddhist believe in samsara and rebirth, right? So those beliefs help us broaden our minds, and it helps us accept, because no religion teaches any bad thing as far as I am aware. So even if it's completely different to what you believe in, it's a piece of education, like you can educate yourself. So it's like this, if you're happy all the time, how do you know that you're actually happy if you don't know what sadness is?
You told me that it broadens you get educated. Is you getting educated more valuable than millions of lives lost? That's what I say.
I don't think there is a correlation between good education and conflict. I think it's much more nuanced than that.
No,
Doesn't education actually pave way for you to think better, for you to have better perspectives? Do you think if all of us are uneducated, we would be not fighting?
Yeah, that's what was happening those days. Our ancestors were less educated than us. At least that's what I believe. Yeah. And that's the reason all these conflicts have come about. Nowadays, people are much more educated and we are much more broad-minded.
That's why I agree with what you said, that one religion will unite all of us. But also, I'm not sure if I should be standing here or here. But I feel like religion is kind of like a choice too. Picking a religion, like choosing that lifestyle, should be your personal choice. So if there's one religion, you're kind of forced to go on that path. But actually, religion should be something you personally choose, something you want to go ahead with. Because like being a Christian, it's not an easy lifestyle, it's not an easy journey. But still, I chose that.
But at the end of the day, what you know, good and bad, those principles are taught to us by religion. So you can't, so at the end of the day, if religion does not exist, if there is not even one religion that teaches us what is right and wrong, how do we know?
That's exactly what I'm saying. There's a universal way of teaching us what's right and wrong. One religion. There is one thing.
For every individual person, right and wrong is different. What is right for me is not right for him. It's subjective. So you can't. It is definitely subjective.
But there are few principles which all of us follow. That's it's pretty simple. I'd also like to mention that Hindus can't eat beef, Muslims can't eat pork, and I don't think Catholics, and there are some Buddhists who don't eat beef as well. But I love beef and I eat beef. But I also believe in my religion, but I would have preferred to not have a religion, because then you can eat whatever you want and do whatever you love. So